Hi everybody and welcome to the channel. My name is Ryan Hebert, and today I'm talking about what do you have to lose. I think there is something to lose, and that is your sense of paranoia. And this all begins with diving into knowledge, gaining insight into life. And that's what it feels like. It feels like a deep dive inward. And the more you probe it, the more you are probed by it, the more you realize you are it. And it begins in this little space of knowledge that is hard to describe. But I'm going to start with this sensation of I don't know. I'm going to start with the declaration of I don't know. Eckhart Tolle talks about this a lot, saying the state of not knowing. Now, if you don't pause and ponder that, you don't realize that being in this declaratory, to declare I don't know, is an admission of guilt or an admission of knowing who done it. If your life is if your life is a mystery, it unravels right there. Many people will have clicked off the video by now because they don't understand. What do you mean? I don't know. But by saying I don't know, you are saying you do know. And you know that you don't know. And that's where your suspicion begins to dissolve, because you realize that there is no such thing as true vacancy of intelligence, and that there is more to this sense of loss, that you begin to lose your sense of individuality. That also begins to dissolve in that little gap of perhaps maybe seeing how the mystery is raveled together, how ignorance and intelligence know each other so intimately that it's laughable once you see it. You see, you'll spend your life, much of your life, in one of two roles. You'll first perhaps be like me and be a detective, and you'll sense there's some great thing for you, and you'll pursue it. And then there are those of us who are suspects, who play the role of suspects, and they think they are being detected. They think they are being seen, and so they flee. And essentially the moral of the story is that whatever you are detecting and whatever that you are running from is essentially yourself. And that I can't pull apart duality, and there's nobody who is speaking non-dually. There are no spiritual teachers that are speaking non-dually. If we want to speak non-duality, we would just keep our mouth shut. Even Jesus admitted that he spoke that way. He said, I've come to drive a sword. I didn't come to make peace. Because you drive a sword of division into the singularity, and then it settles again, and what remains is an impression of that. And that impression is like evidence. Like a trail. I'm hot on the trail. But then the second phase of it is realizing the detective suddenly realizes that he's the suspect. In some strange illusion. So the detective keeps pointing, keeps trying to find the culprit and points out the culprit. But the tip of the finger cannot point to itself. It can if you are captivated by this clever device called a mirror. If you go up to the mirror, you can touch the tip of your finger. And that's what people think they are doing when they get it. And in some ways, I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to get it right now. I'm trying to show you, hey, I got it. But you can't get it. You are it. And in spiritual revelation, you realize that you had been like a puppy who had seen his reflection for the first time and started aggressing for it, chasing it, barking it, being violent against it. Or a scared puppy who looks in the mirror and then runs away and then, strangely drawn to the mirror, though, each time, right? You're strangely drawn to the mirror. And you're going to either condemn it or praise it. But it's both the same. It's an illusion of you. See, the eyes can't really see themselves, and the tip of the finger cannot point to itself. And the teeth can't bite themselves, and the edge of a knife cannot cut itself. If you spend time with that, you'll realize that there is no lack of knowledge, that the entire fabric of the universe, all the substance of the universe is intelligence. Even space itself, to the tiniest particles, tiny quantum particles, behave. And they may seem in opposition to one another. In the same ways that perhaps maybe certain functions in the body seem opposite to one another or unrelated. And that's why we have podiatrists who don't understand what neurology is about, or the dentist has no clue what the cardiologist is doing, because we see ourselves as a conglomeration of parts, and we see our lives as separate events from the universe itself, that we don't realize that you are the universe doing what the universe is doing, and the universe is doing itself. It's being done. And there's no partiality, and even science is catching up to that. There's no individual will, there's no individual mind, there's no individual life. That means there's no individual event. Even though I experience something I don't know, I still know that I don't know. And there's the loophole that is the closest thing you'll ever come to non-duality. But somehow that sinks in, and you stop playing detective and you stop playing fugitive. Well, what do you do when the fugitive and the detective decide to retire? Well, you keep playing along, of course. I'm playing along. But it becomes okay. It becomes part of the whole, but in a different way. You re-engage with the world in this light-hearted, hey, it's okay kind of thing. You realize everything you're looking at is yourself. Isn't that beautiful? That things are reflecting back to you. The things kind of ignorance turns back around on itself, and it becomes unitive knowledge. See, ignorance has a funny root word, gnosis, Gnosis, which comes from the Greek. And the Gnostics claim to have some special knowledge. And there's a poem, it's called Thunder, the Perfect Mind. I encourage you to read it, and it seems like a bunch of opposites. But that's what spiritual teachers do. They drive swords, and they show the opposites in this undulation of positive and negative slow down. And the illusion of two fingers becomes one. And you can't describe it. You can only see evidence of it. And you are that evidence. You are the reflection as the individual. But that which sees itself in the mirror and doesn't fully recognize what it sees. It thinks that it's like going to the mirror and thinking that what you see in the mirror is real. What's looking is real. That's hard to describe. But it's liberating because you disappear. The individual goes away. There's no your life. See, we have this notion that we are some kind of creature in the environment. And that we go around in the environment and the environment is completely dumb. There's no intelligence outside of me. That's at least what it appears to be. And a lot of people buying into that conspiracy. That I'm going around and I'm not bothering anything. I'm not the cause and the effect. The universe is a cause and effect of itself. And it's all interlocked. You are bound up to the beginning of time, to ground zero. The ignition which started the universe is linked together, and it radiated itself outwards in the appearance of individual components, but it's not. That's not how it is at all. And if you're suspicious, you haven't caught on yet. You're still the puppy running from yourself in the mirror, and you're still the detective trying to point your finger to yourself and say, oh, I got that. And so that's what the universe does. It puts itself on a cross and watches itself suffer. It puts itself in a guillotine and shuts up the enemy. It goes through horrible diseases and suffering, and it dies, and it comes back again, wiser, so to speak. And the detective and the suspect quit. That duality is one, and they retire. You retire from that. And what you were suspicious of, you now love. What you were seeking, you realize you are. The fulfillment you were looking for was already there. And that conspiracy, that illusion was what was, I guess, necessary. Division is necessary to show wholeness, but then it comes back together on itself in a lovely thing called insight. It's pieced together in each individual. And once it's pieced together, P-I-E-C-E-D, it is P-E-A-C-E. It is peace. I was like, oh, whew, what a relief. Ryan Hebert is not real as a collection of stories or as a personality. These traits are what it leaves behind. The impression of it is what I am. The reflection of it is what I am as an individual. But if you back up enough into the insight, you realize, whoa, holy shit. What incredible insight to realize it's all okay, even what appears as chaos. See, chaos and order are a sword. And you realize chaos and order are the same. Negative and positive are the same, and nobody gets to explore just the negative side. Because the positive side of the terminal has to be connected for you to understand. That's how knowledge and the so-called not knowledge work. Ignorance is a deliberate thing. It knows what it's doing. And it's as intelligent as intelligence. It is a form of intelligence that has turned on itself in some weird illusion that is now revealing itself again. And that's what's liberating, calming, and consoling. What do I have to lose? Everything. And nothing. The paranoia subsides, and what's left is paradise. The only choice you have left. to accept, surrender, and understand that you don't know. And understand what that means, that you don't know. It means that you do know. And that's the likeness of omniscience. Right there, in you. Almighty, all-knowing, all-present, all-intelligent. Okay, friends, thank you so much for watching. My name is Ryan Abair, and I hope you'll check out my blog. It's called mymorningmotivator.com. I'll see you guys next time.